What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. Blade put up a good fight, but it looks like it is finally done. People who were involved with the Blade project, and I say that very specifically, not just people at Marvel Studios, but people who were signed on directly to be a part of Blade are now speaking out and talking about how they pretty much have written it off and it's basically never going to happen. There is still a very small chance, and we'll talk about why there's a small chance. And yes, it has to do with the Midnight Suns, but when we go over what some people have said, you'll see that it sounds like the film is pretty much never going to see the light of day, unfortunately. And this could actually mean some pretty bad things for the supernatural side of the MCU, especially with Secret Wars coming up, which is said to give us a soft reboot of the MCU. We've heard a lot about Blade recently. Some of it is from people who were directly involved with Blade and some from insiders. So let's break it all down in this video. Now, we actually have some details about what the movie was going to be about, some of the plot points for the movie. But to start it all off, today, insider Daniel Richmond revealed on his Patreon that the Blade reboot has been delayed indefinitely. And this could mean a few different things. The project may no longer be in active development, though there are still plans to release it eventually, or it may have been quietly shelved with an official cancellation announcement yet to come. And it sounds like that is more likely to happen, as we have people speaking up about the film now, like the artist Flying Lotus. He just came out and said, "I guess we are so far from it even being a possibility now, but yeah, I was signed on to write music for the new Blade movie before it fell through. Maybe it'll come around again, but I doubt it. Would have been fun though." So here we have the person who was set to write music for Blade say that he doubts it's even a possibility now. Then he says maybe it'll come around again, but I doubt it. And he even says the project fell through. So this is somebody who was officially on board with the project telling us he doubts it's going to ever be made. But we do have more Blade news. And we have a lot more to go over in this video, which is why I'm so grateful for Magic Mind for helping me stay focused while I made this video and other videos for you all as well. I have always been so curious about Magic Mind. I had seen some other people that I knew try it and say that the results were really incredible for them. They told me that it helped them focus even when there were just so many distractions going on in the world. And it helped them overall feel less stressed out, which is why when they invited me to do a 7-day challenge, I was really excited because, as you know, there are just a ton of new Marvel movies coming out, and there's a lot of information that comes from each of these films as they film and are about to release. So less stress plus more energy and focus is something that I was really curious about, and I can say it definitely delivered. I drank them for a week and I noticed a huge difference. I was less stressed out and I was able to focus a lot more easily and shut out distractions. And the best thing is it's 100% safe, so I didn't really have to worry about it. It's validated by doctors. They've done over 200 scientific studies. The mushrooms that are in it are organically grown in California and the ingredients are top grade. It's time-released caffeine, so you don't get a crash when you drink it. I had less stress, I had better sleep, and better focus by the time I got to day 7 of taking it. And right now, if you want to try it, you can get 48% off your first subscription for the next 10 days or 20% off for a one-time purchase. All you got to do is go to magicmind.com/cosmicwonder20 so you can get started at no risk. They have a 100% refund, no questions asked for 100 days after buying. Now, on top of Flying Lotus saying that it's probably never going to happen, and Daniel RPK stating that it's been delayed indefinitely, last week Entertainment Weekly interviewed Sinners star Delroy Lindo, and in the interview he talked about leaving the Blade project. The article starts off by stating that he landed a role in Marvel's Mahershala Ali-led Blade movie, which he eventually departed as the film remains in creative limbo. And he does tell us a little bit about his character. The article goes on to state, Blade, a reimagining of the comic book daywalker vampire hunter, was another experience. A parade of filmmakers and writers filtered on and off that movie for Disney's Marvel Studios, trying to make it work. In November 2023, Variety published a report about alleged creative disagreements contributing to the hang-up. Marvel has since pulled the film entirely from its release calendar, and Lindo isn't at present involved. And Lindo said this, "When Marvel came to me, they seemed to be really interested in my input and in the various conversations I had with producers. the writer, the director at the time, because there have been multiple directors attached to the film. It was all leading into being very inclusive. It was really exciting conceptually, but it was also exciting in terms of the character that was going to form. And then, for whatever reason, it just went off the rails. So here's an actor that was directly attached to the project confirming the movie and the production involved with it and the pre-production and everything really involved with it just went off the rails. And as far as the character he was going to play is concerned, he didn't reveal who it was, but he did say this. There was a Marcus Garvey-esque component to who this man was shaping up to be. I'm not saying that it would have been an out-and-out Garveyite, not that, but just in terms of how this man's philosophy, his ethos, and what was driving him. He was a character who had, very similar to Sinners, created a community, a black community. He was a character who was the head of this community. Then, on top of this all, John Campia's team got an exclusive interview with Ruth E. Carter, who was set to be the costume designer for Blade, and she revealed some details about the film that we never officially heard before. According to John Campia and his team, in the interview, she said that it was going to be a period piece set in the 20s. That's something that we heard before about the film, but never from an official source, only from insiders. But according to John Campia, in the interview, Ruth did say that and confirm it.
Was working on Blade. And in this interview, she told you something really interesting about the work she was doing on Blade before they kind of put it on pause.
Yeah.
So take the people through.
Well, she said that she was working on Blade, but that Blade is set in the 1920s.
And of course, she did say that it was on hold. And Robert, who's a part of John Campia's team, said when he talked to her, she did seem excited for Blade, so maybe there is a little hope that it still might get made. Now, I wouldn't hold on to that hope because, again, today we heard a report that it's delayed indefinitely, and Flying Lotus has revealed that he's basically out of it now and doesn't think it'll ever get made. The only hope that we really have is that Marvel Studios needs Blade to tie into the supernatural side of the MCU. Blade was set to be the leader of the supernatural team in the MCU. If the Blade project has been canceled, that could mean bad things for the Midnight Suns, because the Blade movie was supposed to directly go into the Midnight Suns. In fact, we heard they were going to film those projects back to back. Sadly, after hearing all of this news, I don't think the Blade movie, if it ever gets made, is going to come out before Avengers Secret Wars, which means the Midnight Suns probably aren't coming out before Secret Wars either, and we know that Secret Wars is going to end with us getting a new universe. And I would assume that Kevin Feige does have plans for the Midnight Suns and the supernatural side of the MCU post Secret Wars, but it might take a little bit longer to get there because we know the next phase is going to be about the X-Men. And the president of Marvel Studios himself, Kevin Feige, has confirmed already the next saga is going to be the mutant era of the MCU. So that is the focus. Can you throw in some supernatural characters? Sure, but there's a lot of X-Men to set up, a lot of teams, a lot of villains, and at the same time, you still have the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. And perhaps we could be getting new, entirely recast Avengers like Iron Man, Black Widow, and Captain America, among others. So the fact that Blade has been possibly canceled and might not ever happen does affect the Midnight Suns, but I do think ultimately we get a Midnight Suns and eventually a Blade in the MCU, even if Blade has to debut in the Midnight Suns project and not his own project. Will it be Mahershala Ali? Well, that's kind of a question mark right now. Some people are stating that it's been years since the announcement, and it really has been a very long time since the announcement, and that he perhaps is too old now, but I still think that Mahershala Ali could do it, and I think he has a really great look for Blade. I do hope this movie gets made eventually, but right now, unfortunately, it's not looking too good. But go ahead, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Blade still has a chance of being made, and were you excited for this project, and are you bummed that it might not get made now? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof. And before we leave, a reminder to go to magicmind.com/cosmicwonder and use code CosmicWonder20 to get 48% off your first subscription for the next 10 days or 20% off for a one-time purchase.